Oh, hey everybody. This is Johnny Dim. It's been a long time since we've done a video like this. Well, if you've been following the show at all, we went away for a few months. We're coming back. We've been doing Warpod episodes, a lot of fun stuff. But this video right here is just a quick reaction to the last episode of Game of Thrones. It's over. For anyone who is current with it, it's all over. I just wanted to get some feelings out about how I feel about the episode. No big deal. So I would say what is the feeling that I'm feeling the most right now is some satisfaction and just happy that certain things happened. So all the major plot points, let's go over them, right? So since it's the last episode, of course, or the second to last episode, and we're getting into spoilers. Obviously, this is what's happening right now. So don't watch this if you don't want to get if you don't want any of this to get spoiled. So last episode, of course, Daenerys, she does what she needs to do, what she thinks she needs to do to take the Iron Throne, and she destroys King's Landing. Creates a big mess, kills a lot of people, innocent people, big deal. So now, what we're thinking is, okay, she's got to go, right? Like, there's no way that we're gonna be satisfied if she stays, if she remains living and in control of the Seven Kingdoms, right? So, okay, let me sit down. I need to sit down. We need to talk about this. So she's got to go, and what most people watching the show want to happen is you want Jon Snow to remove her from her throne and take over. And of course, some of that happens like we expect it to, but definitely not all of what we expected happens. So I think surprised, as most people were, that we don't get Jon on the throne, but I'm kind of happy for what ends up happening, and it makes sense when you think about how Grey Worm would have reacted, and there's no way that he would just say, "Oh, okay, you're the king now," right? There's no way that would have happened. So we get the little council of the Seven Kingdoms, plus some, I guess, and they try to figure out who's gonna be the king of the Seven Kingdoms and such. And I gotta say, that whole scene, you're like, oh no, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna bring democracy to Westeros and all that? And it's like, you kind of want to roll your eyes at that a little bit, because this is not, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It would just been a little too heavy-handed, I think, if they went that route. It's not. This isn't the history of the world. We're not building Rome. We're not building, what democracy as we know it. That's not what the show's about, right? It would have been too much, I think, for them to go that route. I don't think that it would have been consistent with what Game of Thrones is. So I'm glad that they brought it up, I guess, but didn't go that route, because it would have been silly. Like the one guy just laughs it off. Like are you freaking kidding me? We're not doing that. So I did, and the Bran has been pretty useless for the most part, for a while, since he's become a three-eyed raven, but it kind of makes sense now, because now Bran saw this coming the whole time, and he's kind of like, I'm gonna create a little gif of him with the Thug Life, with the glasses that come down, because he's been playing everybody, and it's ridiculous, and I just don't know how I feel about that. but it was clever of him. Um, I assume he's going to be a good king. I think most people do assume he's going to be a good king, and we just gotta roll with that. But Jon Snow is an interesting character, and you feel, I don't know, him going back to the Wall seems, and going back to the Night's Watch. It's the world he knows, but I don't know. You just can't be all that happy about it, especially now with the Night's Watch. I mean, what are they watching for? They're on good terms with the wildlings. I mean, what are they worried about? Dire wolves coming down? I don't know. I don't know why we even need much of a Night's Watch at all. It just seems silly. So I feel bad about that. What Jon's fate was. It didn't seem fair. Grey Worm can just get bent because he's just the worst. He basically, his people are like war criminals more or less because they're like Nazis after World War II. Like they, the only thing that's stopping them from being tried as war criminals or the true enemy that they were is that they have superior numbers and that they could start a war, and Grey Worm would start a war over this. So I get it. I'm making peace with it. Jon Snow is a character that just doesn't. That's just where he's got to live his life out on the wall. So aside from that, okay, let's move on. So what was the next? There wasn't a lot that happened. There's, my girlfriend is actually making that point. She's like, this whole episode after I had been watching the clock, I looked at it and it was an hour into the show, and I was like, this does not feel like an hour. Nothing has happened. I mean, one thing happened, but that was it. And it's just crazy how long this episode was because it was really just a lot of long shots. The scenes were dragged out. There was a lot of emotion in the characters. I'm not saying that necessarily they didn't need to do that. I think some of it was necessary because, I mean, there's a lot of emotion riding on their shoulders. So let's move on. So after Bran gets made king, not much else happens. Like, you just see like the different characters in the way, and Arya says she's going to go discover America. That's essentially what she's gonna do, and that makes some sense. I mean, she's no pirate or anything. I thought that was a little weird, but that she's basically gonna have a life of a sailor now. But she has always been independent, and she's always gonna be someone who goes off and does her own thing. So not a huge surprise. Sansa is just going to do her thing in the north. And I don't know. Everything seems to be all good with the world. I like the scene at the end with Tyrion and his council. Well, it's Bran's council, but the hand runs the council, I guess. Well, when Bran's not there, and yeah, I mean it was kind of humorous. You got to see what's his face in the Blackwater, and that, I mean, it was funny. It's funny, and like the stuff I just went over, like that's the entire episode, and it was still over an hour. It was like it's supposed to be like 60. No, I'm sorry. 80 minutes, I think, was the whole episode. Just crazy. Overall, I'm feeling good about this. I think that people that have not seen Game of Thrones, and there definitely are some. I know some. If they ever feel like binge watching it, it's going to be a lot of fun for them. I hope that nobody ruins it for them. And I think it was a pretty fitting ending. The only issue I think that we had with this last season is that they've kind of painted themselves into a corner because they only gave themselves 6 episodes to wrap up a massive show that had been going on for 7 seasons already, and it was weird. It's weird that they decided to go that route. That they only went 6 episodes. I understand there's probably a lot of schedules they had to worry about the different actors and things like that. They did what they had to do. It's fine. Overall, I feel pretty positive about this last season. It was rushed. and that was against them. But I don't think it was bad. I think that it was just a little rushed. I think this, especially this last episode, was pretty satisfying. It seemed like an empty world by the end because there's so many characters that have gone. Just in this last season, there's been so many characters that they've gotten rid of. Overall, good. I'm glad. I'm glad that it happened. I'm glad. I don't know. Overall, positive. Don't ruin this for anybody who hasn't seen Game of Thrones yet. Just let them enjoy it in their own time. Definitely, you should be very heavy-handed in suggesting that they watch Game of Thrones and through its entirety. One of the better shows in my lifetime, and I'm happy just to have seen it. So that's how I feel about it mostly. I'm not gonna be too hard on this last season. Like I said, I think it was just rushed. Other than that, it wasn't too bad. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. Sorry, it wasn't more of a like polarizing opinion about it, but I can't make myself do that. Maybe we'll do a War Pod episode down the road, and we'll be able to marinate, let these feelings marinate, and let the show marinate, and we'll have some more negative or positive things to say. But for me, it's just above average, definitely. This last season, overall, the series A+. So there you go.